So I did not go up to campus because Hurricane Harvey is hitting parts of Texas. I'm Central Texas, and so really it's just been raining all weekend. I'm having to use a light because it's pretty much gloomy and dark outside. If you're in Houston or surrounding areas, my thoughts and prayers are out to you. Actually, I had family from Corpus Christi that they're staying with my parents an hour north of Austin, and so I definitely am being, not personally, but indirectly affected through family members that have had to leave or evacuate. I actually got an email from the principal who sent out maybe about an hour ago, or at least I saw it an hour ago, that our school is going to be one of several schools in the area that is going to house people who are evacuating the Houston and surrounding areas. I don't know how that's going to affect school tomorrow, if at all. So I had planned to go to the campus to set some stuff up and finish cutting some of the learning stations because I took a set up to campus Friday, and I just decided not to go to the campus and be safe because of potential flooding, and I didn't know what was going on out there. It's been it just has rained up here the entire time, at least where I'm at in the city, but I didn't want to chance it. Today's Monday, it's the second week of school. However, we are starting school 2 hours late at 11 instead of 9 because of the hurricane hitting the state. And so I came to pick up some stuff because I basically stayed inside all weekend and didn't go anywhere. I also was trying to get some stuff in my interactive notebooks, but I think I'm gonna go someplace else to grab them. So I'm gonna check out here, head back home, and then head to the school. Oh, how fun. Of course that would happen the second week of school. So I've arrived at the school. The first thing that I did was I helped one of the teachers move the teacher desk that was in here that I had placed in the prep room. They had cleared out an area in the pod where my former classroom was last year to, I guess, make an office space for the teachers in that area. So I wasn't using the desk, it was just sitting back in the prep room, so I said they can take it, so I helped him. It was a huge heavy desk, and I can't believe like I moved it by myself at the end of last school year. So now I'm getting ready to, besides the fact that my laptop, when I cut it on, said that my battery is experiencing permanent failure and it needs to be replaced. Other than that, I am going to make copies because we're doing interactive notebook stuff. So it's like left side, right side, getting everything set up. And then I'm in the process right now of printing out the hall ticket passes because I told the students today, or not today, on the first day of school about the hall tickets, and that last week was going to be their free week, so they need to go to the bathroom, go get water, etc. I would let them go. However, the hall ticket system was going to start this week, and what I do is I color code based on the color of their interactive notebooks. So all their passes are going to be a shade of green, and I usually change the shade of green per 6 weeks. It might be a dark green the first 6 weeks, a lime green the second 6 weeks, a very light green the third 6 weeks, and then I might rotate it when we come back again. People have asked me, you know, what do you do if students copy, like make copies? Like you can tell if a student makes a copy of a colored sheet of paper, even if it's a light colored sheet of paper, like if I use a light green color or even a light yellow or a light pink, you can tell because it's a little bit, it looks gray on a white piece of paper or even on a color sheet of paper, so that's how you know. So I'm gonna get ready to print this out, go grab the copies. I was going to print my hall ticket passes, but my laptop doesn't want to cooperate, and that's one of the other frustrating things. Sometimes you get here early and you're trying to get stuff done, and your laptop takes 20 minutes just to open up a file, and so that's lost time. I knew I should have printed these at home. I didn't learn my lesson from last school year. Getting ready to count out the papers because I made all the copies for their interactive notebooks, and so everything's sitting right here on the back lap table. So I have my fingertip moistener, paper clips, and then everything's sitting out. First period is going to be blue, so in the last week I showed that I went ahead and cut their duct tape for the spine binding. So now I'm going to go ahead and count out by group, so that way they have all the materials at their tables already. So if you can do me a favor, take that white sheet of blank paper and tell me 3 things about you. You don't have to go into detail or be personal. This is chemistry, not psychology. Whatever you'd like to share. 2 things you did this summer, and then 1 goal that you have for this class. Yeah. Also, do you have any of the homework? Well, it wasn't homework. It was stuff that you didn't finish when you were here last time. So. Just go ahead and put that in the middle of the box, and I will come around and collect them. So any forms that you have, your science safety form, and then the photo video release form, which I think must be turned in. Okay, so what we're going to get ready to do is we're going to play musical share. The way that this works, huh? Oh, I know. He comes to visit every once in a while. No, we cannot step on him. Okay, so it seems like most people have finished writing. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a game. It's called musical share. It's like musical chairs but without chairs and pushing each other and things like that. And it also involves what I just had you do, think, write, pair, share. So I gave you a prompt. This is probably an easy one. So again, we didn't really get to know each other at the very beginning of the school year. We'll have plenty of time to get to know one another throughout the school year. So 3 things about you, 2 things that you did this summer, and 1 goal that you have for your class. So I let you think about it, write about it. Now we're going to get up and pair and share with one another. So the way this works is I'm going to play some music. When the music plays, you get up and you move around the room. You can move around here, you can move around in the back. Just some people, like one period they were doing like a lazy river and they were walking around a circle and around the middle. It was really funny. But just move around the room, okay? Try not to follow the same people. You also just can't stand at your table, and you just can't walk in a circle around your table. You have to move around the room, because if I see you doing that, I'm going to come up and stand next to you. When the music stops, you find someone nearest to you, and you pair up and you stand back to back. You don't have to physically touch back to back. You just and I were next to each other, we could just stand back to back like this. This allows me to scan the room real quick to see who is not paired up with somebody in case we have an odd number of people, and then I will pair up with that person. Okay, so again, when the music's playing, you get up, you move around. When the music stops, find someone nearest to you, not like across the room, but like immediately near you, and you stand back to back, but you don't have to touch physically, and then you wait until the instructions for me to give you. So you will need your paper and your pencil. Looking it up. Mix it up. Okay, so what you're going to do, thank you all for following instructions, I appreciate that. Okay, the music has stopped. Pair up with someone nearest you. Stand back fast. Is everybody paired up? Awesome. All the other classes that I want to offer right now. Okay, so what you're going to do, oh, you're out? Okay, you'll pair up with me in a second. So what you're going to do is I'm just going to assume that most of you may or may not know each other, but if you know each other, whether you do or don't, doesn't matter. You're going to introduce yourself, hi, my name is blah, 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 and then you're going to share what you wrote. Again, make sure that you're actively paying attention, because when we're done, I'm going to call on people to volunteer to share either what they wrote or what someone shared with them. Okay, go. Okay. Okay, same thing as last time. You're going to introduce yourself to that person and then share at least What are a couple things that you wrote? Go. Same thing, introduce yourself if you don't know that person and share your thing. So it's 5:30, it's the end of the first day of the second week of school. Basically my A days, if you saw my last video, they repeated everything my B day classes did on Friday. So started off with a 3, 2, 1 get to know you. So 3 things about you, 2 things that you did this summer, and then I switched up the questions. Last week it was 1 goal that you have for this class, and I think today I had, it was 1 thing that you can do to be successful in this class. We played musical share. After musical share, I had the students grab the laptops. They took the 16 question survey where I talked about or introduced flexible seating to them. From the survey, once they finished, I had them come and grab, this is leftover tape because there were a lot of students missing from first period, which is understandable because it was raining this morning and we were 2-hour delay, and I don't know if some of them traveled, and hopefully they're okay if they did travel because of the whole hurricane situation, or if they had family. Actually, our school is housing evacuees, or one of the schools at least in the district. And so from there, they got some tape. I had them set up their interactive notebooks. So I also started preparing some stuff, but we didn't get to put this in yet. So I just had them placed in the notebooks, and we're gonna finish up on Wednesday. B-Day will finish tomorrow. 4th period is over there. After that, I had them take the lab safety and equipment quiz, and then we graded that in class, and then that was the end of the day because we were on a modified bell schedule. There's a gnat, and other than that, it's 5:35, so I'm going to submit the grades, put the grades in my grade book, and then I'm going to head out of here within the next 5 to 10 minutes and get ready for day 2 of the second week of school. Happy Tuesday. It is the second day of the second week of school. I got here a little bit later than I normally do. It's about 7:45 right now. I got here at 7:30, and that's because I decided to print some stuff out at home and do a little bit of work at home because I think I said this yesterday, my laptop battery has failed, and so I cannot unplug it from the charger without it dying, which sucks because it just takes a long time for the laptop to start up anyways, and I needed to make some copies, and I didn't want to chance for some reason, like if I accidentally moved and the plug came out and the power just shutting off and losing the work that I was working on. So I just decided to stay home and print. So I just figured I'd use that so I can print some stuff there and then come here and make copies. So today the students are doing another student learning lab. They're doing the numbers and science. I need to actually finish up this set because this was a set that I was gonna finish. This is the only piece that the puzzles that I need to cut out because I was supposed to come up this weekend, but because of the hurricane and just the weather, I decided not to come up and chance it. So everything's done. I just need to switch out the safety signs for the number of science signs. And then also what we're doing today is, I don't know if I probably didn't. So I think in one of my other videos I talked about, maybe it was one of my videos, I talked about, or I think maybe it was a blog, I think it was one of my blog posts. I talked about wacky rulers and how originally when I taught chemistry, my instructional coach at the time, she had these rulers. It was like a yellow ruler, and then the bottom half had these alternating black and yellow squares. And so I used that to introduce accuracy and precision. I would give each student a ruler, they would get a card and they would have to measure it. Then they would come up to a piece of chart paper and they would write their measurements down. And I wouldn't tell them, because some students would say, what's the unit? And I'm like, I don't know. But the reason I would do that is because that would help me stress the importance of, first of all, what's the measurement consist of, a number and a unit, and then we would get into accuracy and precision. So when they would write all their numbers on the chart paper, I would talk about accuracy, and then we would talk about precision. And a lot of times that activity solidified the difference between accuracy and precision without me having to go into like analogies. They understood just from that activity alone. So I was able to find these rulers, which they're double-sided. I bought 3 sets of a dozen, and so it cost me, plus shipping and handling and taxes, it was $37. So I'm excited, and I think it was Amazon Prime, so and it came within 2 days. So I was happy about that. So I'm going to get this set up. I actually need to print. That's the one thing I forgot to print at home. Actually, because I think I printed it and I put it over there on my shelf. So that's the activity that I'm going to do before they do the learning labs, is I'm going to do the accuracy and precision, kind of this just student activity for us to talk about it. That's after interactive notebooks. We finished setting those up. And then I have some stuff in my bag that I left in there. But I printed some stuff out at home, and we're gonna do some interactive notebook stuff in regard to accuracy and precision. So they're gonna take a little bit of notes before I actually have them do the stations. So some people have asked me, either here on YouTube or some of my other social media channels, like, you know, do I have students do the stations first and then teach afterwards, or do I teach first and do the stations? It really depends on your class and, you know, your style of teaching. When I did it last year, more specifically towards the end of the school year, well, I did some biology ones. However, like the chemistry versions, like the beginning of this year, I gave choice, and so students were able to just pick and choose. They can go around the room and work individually, they can work in pairs or with other people, they can hop from group to group. As long as they were on task and they were working, I didn't mind small chat every now and then. But if I saw you and then I came back maybe 5-10 minutes later and you were still in the same station, still in the same area, then you're not being productive. And so at that point, then I would, you know, take away your privileges, or take away that student's privileges from moving around, their choice privileges. And so at that point, I would direct them where to go. So there are times where I've done the stations first, and then I've done kind of like a mini wrap up, like let's pull everything together. So let me start asking questions, or what questions do you all have? What confusion do you have? And that was great, because sometimes students had questions and they would ask me at that point, and I would use that as an opportunity to clarify any misconceptions. And there were other times where, for example, I had last year, it wasn't a designated L, an English language learner biology class, but pretty much all of those students in that particular section were L students. And so for that particular class, what I did was I introduced the concepts first, gave a little bit of background knowledge, and then they did the stations activity. And they were successful at that because I gave them some of the vocabulary and just some things to help them out. And I knew the stations already, so I knew sort of what to pre-teach to help them be successful in that. So really it's up to you, and each period is different. I think I said this last week, one of the days, is that one of my classes is going to need a little bit of structure, and so I am going to set some boundaries. Although today, with the numbers in science activity, I am having them do it in groups, mainly because I wasn't planning to do safety last week, and actually the district curriculum doesn't start off. I think there's maybe like one day devoted to safety, and measurement is not even covered. It goes straight into matter and change, and then atomic structure. So according to the district curriculum pacing guide, I am behind already, which I'm not stressing myself out because I know I can get my students caught up. And so that's why I'm gonna keep them in groups today and have them rotate by groups, because just of I think 3 of the stations involve watching some videos, and the videos are a little bit longer this time, up to 5 to 7 minutes, but I chunked it so it's like watch a portion of the video here, and then here's some questions, and then watch a portion of the video here, here's some questions. So, but 3 of the stations involve some videos like that, so I want to make sure that students don't go to the easy stations first, and then everybody's trying to wait to get to the video section. So that's why I'm going to have them go around by group. But I think for the next couple of station labs, I'm going to have them pick it. Again, it just depends. It depends. So once we get to there, I'll decide what I want to do. But just for those who are wondering, like, hey, do you assign stations or do you just choose? It really is up to you and your individual classes. So right now I'm setting up my interactive notebook because my laptop battery doesn't work. I'm not able to bring that. Usually when I'm making copies, I use that to do work, whether it's putting in grades or fixing up a presentation for something. However, decided to put my comp book together. So this is one that I already had set up from a while back. And then this is the one that, kind of like my demo one, that I'm going to set up and show kids as we're setting up our interactive notebooks today. Those of you who are waiting for other people to finish cutting, go ahead and start numbering your interactive notebook, starting with number 1 is the very first page. When you open up your comp book, that is number 1. When you flip over the second page, that's going to be number 2. And then 3, do it to 50. Sure, it's late. Is it glue out? Yeah. If at any point you need glue, let me know because I have a bunch. And you're going to slightly place it over it. So you see how I left some room, but I'm going to scoot it. I'm only showing you this because so that way you can see. But I'm going to place it completely over it like that. And then again, just put a piece of tape above it. So I have something like this. And then last but not least is the one that has the bullseye. There are 3 pictures of them and it says accuracy and precision. There's this little tab right here. Use your glue stick to glue underneath this part only. See where there's a solid black line? So glue underneath that only, and you're going to put it slightly off to the side like that and glue it down. And then some of you probably already figured out, anytime there's a dotted line, that's where you cut along the dotted line only. Except for when we were cutting out along the big thing, never cut along a solid black line. So these dotted lines right here, go ahead and cut up to this point right here. So I'll show you. She's giving you a gold sheet that looks like this. This is our objective for today. Normally we'll have that posted, but this is what we're doing today. So it says, I know how to collect data and make measurements with accuracy and precision. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to do a short activity, then we're going to start the numbers and science. So just a recap of today, Tuesday, the second day of the second week of school. My students, we set up interactive notebooks, so all my classes, the interactive notebooks are set up. I have a set over there because I need to go buy some bins or a bookshelf. I haven't decided what I want. And I'm probably just gonna hold off until flexible seating is implemented. So we set up the interactive notebook. Then what I did is I got into accuracy and precision. We did a little activity. And I knew some of the students were gonna freak out because I had these little wacky rulers that I purchased. And I told them that I didn't want them to measure with the centimeter, and I wanted them to measure with the alternating blue and white boxes. There was an alternate side, a duplicate side, an alternate side, red and white one. And I didn't tell them what the units were, and so some of the students started freaking out. I'm like, it's okay, just calm down. Just calm down. Like the reason I'm doing it is because I wanted them to understand the whole purpose of, you know, when they measure things, they need to provide a number and a unit. So that point was made very clear after that activity. And then we talked about accuracy and precision, so they were able to see that. And then so today I had 6th and 7th period. So 6th period, we didn't get to start the stations activity, but 7th period did. So some of the stations were set out already. And I just told them that they were going to go by groups. So I had the middle tables, the 3 tables right here in the middle. I had them come to the back area, and then running out of memory. Anyway, I had the 3 tables in the middle come to the lab area. Then I had the outer 2 stay up in the front of the classroom. And so they were only able to get through 1 station. The classes today on Thursday, they will pick back up. Whereas tomorrow, my 8A classes, they'll repeat what I did today. They might be a little bit ahead because I don't have to pass out all the stuff. They already had their papers. I don't know if you can see that. They already had all their papers from Monday. So as soon as class begins, we're not going to do a warm-up. That is going to be our warm-up activity. Cut out all the documents, set up our interactive notebook, and get straight to the lab activity. So without that, it is 5:45. I am going to go home, and I'm going to go to bed early because I'm tired. It is Wednesday, the 3rd day of the second week of school. It's 5 till 8 a.m. I got here late because I had to drop my dog off, one of my dogs off at the vet. the one that has the liver issues. So she's finished her medication, and so now they're running tests to see whether her liver values have gone down. So I won't be able to find out or pick her up until after school's over. And then I stopped off at the store, and then traffic and that's one of the reasons I leave early in the morning, because I hate having to sit in traffic twice a day. So I'd rather just do it when school's over versus having to do it first thing in the morning, and then when you're tired after work to sit in traffic twice a day. So other than that, today's an A day, so we will be repeating what we did yesterday. Okay, so with the left and right side, this is just explaining the left and right side. How many of your science teachers last year did left and right side interaction notebooks? Okay. Okay, so we're going to do that this year. The right side of your interactive notebook is usually where all your notes will go. So anything that we're learning in class, your notes. One of your teachers does it? Okay. That's everything that you're learning, and it basically describes that right there. Vocabulary, words, readings, blah, blah, blah. The left side is how you're going to demonstrate that you understand the knowledge, or the concepts, I would say, that were covered in class that particular day. So similar to the first week of school when you did the stations activity, and then I controlled that one a little bit. I gave you 4 prompts, but you could choose the way that you wanted to demonstrate your understanding of lab safety and lab equipment. So it's basically the same thing. Maybe a song or rap, you can do an acrostic, a mnemonic, a comic strip. Some of you chose to do that. So it's just demonstrating your understanding in various ways that suit you, and you get choice in that. Sometimes I will restrict it, but other times I will leave it open. Okay, so everybody has a ruler, and they have this sheet in your interactive notebook. I believe it's like the second sheet. It is a second sheet. So go ahead and flip to that real quick. So I will say, notice this is group member 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 people at your table, except that group, you guys have 5. So you just add an extra person. So figure out who's going to be group member 1, 2, 3, and 4 at your table. Do that right now. Y'all don't have to be scared of each other. You can say, what's your name? Hi, my name is... I love, you guys act shy here in class, but then I see y'all out there. Whenever we're learning something new, I'm going to give you a sheet that looks like this at the very top, and it's going to explain what we're doing and the purpose of the lesson. So hopefully by the end of the lesson, not just today's lesson, but the next couple of lessons, is I know how to collect data, make measurements with accuracy and precision. We're about to do an activity right now to help you with those 2 terms. You need to know what accuracy and precision are before you can go back in the lab and do that. So each person has a picture of a shark and a wacky ruler. It says, use the wacky ruler to measure the graphic provided. Without talking to your group members, make the best measurement possible. And then write this measurement into the chart in your interactive notebook. So what you're going to do, you're not going to use the centimeter side. You're measuring with the blue box side only, or whatever you want to call those. And that's all I'm telling you, and there's a reason why I'm not saying anything other than that. So take a few seconds to measure it, write your measurements down, and then you need to share your measurements with every person. Okay, group 1, right here in the front, near the door. What's your average for the wacky ruler? What did you all get? 7.75? Just 7.75? Huh? I'm just asking for clarification. Just that. Okay. Second group in the back. What's your average for the wacky ruler? 13. Just 13.15? Okay. Middle group right here. What did y'all get for the wacky ruler? 8. Just 8? Okay. Middle table. 15.58? Okay. Table in the back. Do you need some more time? I will skip you. Okay, table 6. 15, just 15.3? Okay. Table right here. 15.37? Just 15.37? Okay. Table 5 will come back to you. Table 1 right here, for your metric ruler, what was the average? Hold on. There's way too much talking going on, you guys. I know that you're excited, but table 1 right here. 14.8? 88 centimeters. Table 2. 14.75? Just 14.75 centimeters, okay. Table 3.
14.8 centimeters.
14.8 centimeters. Table 4. 14 point what? 8 centimeters. Table 5. Come back to you, table 6. 14.6 centimeters. Just 14.8 centimeters. Okay, table 5, I need your wacky ruler and I need your metric ruler. Just 8? And then it's metric. 14.85? Just 14.85 centimeters. Okay, so good. So let's take a look at these real quick. There's something also missing with those numbers. Blocks. A unit. For the centimeter side, the accepted value is 14.75 centimeters. Yeah, mine is covered because the answer is there.
Oh.
So on this very first one, using either X's or dots, draw me a scenario where it's accurate and precise. If you need to talk to the people at your table, then you can do that to help you out. On the second one, the middle one, draw me a scenario where it is precise but not accurate. And then the last one, draw me a situation where it is neither precise nor accurate. Neither?
Which is the correct one?
Potato, tomato. You know. It's third period. We had house meetings. House meetings are basically schools within the school. Some schools call them academies. We call them houses. Some people call them small learning communities. The first high school I was in, we called them small learning communities, SLCs. And basically it's, so for example, when I was an assistant principal here, I had maybe anywhere from 15 to 30 teachers that were in my house, and then I had 600 students. And so anytime a student received a referral or a parent came up and they happened to be in my house, then I had to deal with it. And so technically I'm not part of a house this year because I'm the only pre-AP chemistry teacher, so I have students from all houses. And so again, I'm only pre-AP chemistry teacher, and then I don't really have a house to belong to. It is Thursday. We're nearing the end of the week. I just got to school. So I need to explain what I was doing yesterday, or what we're doing this week, because I meant to do that yesterday. Students came in for tutoring, and then I said I was going to do it, but then I was going to have lunch, and then kids came to see me. So then I just never got to do it. Yeah, you have to be careful. So one of the things that we did today, school's over obviously, well, I don't know. School's out, it's 5:40, and I stayed because I had a student come in for tutoring because he wanted to complete his writing assignment from last week that was due last week. So he stayed and did that. I also was trimming some of the vines off my plants because I'm going to propagate some new ones. So I was in the back doing that while he was trying to finish up his assignment. And then also I was trying to finish up grading their interactive notebooks today, because what we did was they did their first left side activity. So today was a B day. So yesterday A day, and then B day when I saw them on Tuesday, they took notes for the first time over accuracy, precision. We did this little activity with rulers, and then they took small little notes and did some practice, and that was it. So today, when B-Day came in, what their warm-up was on your left side across from the right side of the notes, I had them demonstrate their understanding of accuracy, precision, and they had this note page on page 4 of their notes that they could utilize and just get some information about what the left side of the interactive notebook is and some options for them. And I told them, you know, anyway, at least this first time, I'm not going to restrict you. You have open choice on how you want to demonstrate that. So I gave them 15 minutes for the warm-up. Normally I gave about 10 minutes for the warm-up, but since this was the first time we were doing interactive notebook left side, and I was allowing them to choose how they were going to demonstrate that understanding, I gave them 15 minutes. However, I did tell them anything they didn't finish during the warm-up time, a lot of time, that was homework. However, because we did do the stations today, and B-Day was ahead of my 8A classes. Once they finished the stations, or if there was downtime while they were waiting to transfer to another station, I highly encouraged them to work on the warm-up so that way it wouldn't be homework. So I had about 20 students turn these in, and I went through it as school was over. There were several students who actually did really well, and they did what I asked them to do, and then some students did not do what I asked them to do. So during my off period tomorrow, which is an 8A, so Friday will be an 8A, during my third period, I am going to make some visits to their classes, and I'm going to drop off their interactive notebook with a little post-it note in there with a message from me saying what they have to do. So I think some of them thought that they could secretly just turn in their notebook thinking that they were done, and I wouldn't look at it until this weekend, because I won't see them until next Wednesday, because this Monday we have off, it's Labor Day, and actually no, I won't see them until Tuesday because today's a B-Day. So I won't see them until Tuesday. So Monday's off. I don't have them tomorrow because tomorrow's an 8A. So I think some of them just thought they could turn it in, and they didn't think that I would actually look at it. But no, I looked at it, and I have a little hot pink post-it note for you, ready for you. So surprise. So I'm just gonna email their teacher tomorrow to let them know, hey, like, I'm gonna stop by real quick. Do you mind if I drop their interactive notebook off? And I don't really have to say much because there's a post-it note with a little set of instructions from me to let the student know what they need to do to get that up to speed. I was also doing some, actually picked this, because I needed to get a planner and I didn't pick up a planner, but this was in the office. Every year they have these. And so I just picked up one today, and I was doing some, I don't know if you can see that, unit planning. Since I did safety last week and equipment, I'm extending my measurement unit a week. It's going to put me 2 weeks behind the district curriculum because I'm going to do a lab practical, and that's going to count as a test grade for the students. So the week after next, so 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, the students are going to sign up. Actually, next week they're going to sign up for either to come before school, after school, during lunch, and they're going to do a measurement lab practical. And it's going to be something similar to a blog post that I wrote a couple years ago. But I'm going to talk to them next week. I sort of already talked a little bit to them about it, but next week I will show them when I'm talking. They're going to do the lab first so that they can get some practice, and then the week after that they're going to do the practical on their own. And I told them it's going to be very hard. Like if they were one of those students that just kind of sat back while their lab partners did all the work, it's going to be very hard, and I'll know because we do lab practicals throughout the school year. Not on every single lab, but there are certain labs that I choose, that I select, that we do lab practicals. So I told them be prepared and make sure that you're participating for that, because I will know that if you know that you didn't pay attention. Similar to when we took the quiz, when they did the lab stations last week and then they took the quiz earlier this week, I was able to tell which students didn't do a lot of the work and just copied. And so I already had that discussion with some of them, and I noticed that they were working a lot more efficiently this time around during the lab stations activity, during the the lab stations activity. I was going to say lab safety, but it was the numbers and science student learning stations. But I noticed that they worked more efficiently this time around compared to the very first time. Maybe because that was the first week of school and they didn't know maybe each other, or they didn't know me, and they were just trying to get a feel. So it seems that the students are more comfortable the second week around. I smile a lot, but the students have already told me when I did the survey, they're like, he seems cool, but very strict. So I do smile. I think you can still have a warm personality, but at the same time have high expectations for student behavior. So I smile a lot. I'm not going to not smile until Christmas. That just seems ridiculous. So other than that, I'm actually gonna go home. I'm just rambling right now, so I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna shut up. Actually, before I shut up and before I go home, I'm gonna explain the tape, because I don't think I explained it, or maybe I did, I can't remember. Anyway, in the earlier video I showed that I cut the tape before class started, and I put it along the island right here, so when students would come in, when we're setting up our interactive notebooks, they just would all come back to the island, grab a piece of tape, and grab a ribbon that was already cut for them, and go back to their seats. However, not all the students were here that day, so for students that were absent, and then I also cut extra pieces of tape, I placed the tape right here. So I was talking about this earlier, but then I had some students come in, and so there was a lot more tape up here, but students have been showing up, and I haven't had any new students added to my class. So all the students that were enrolled last week in my class showed up this week and started setting up their interactive notebooks, or they didn't have their comp book when we started. So when they brought their comp book either yesterday or today, I just told them, go grab the color that matches the class color and get started. And they knew, because they saw everybody else do it. So that's basically what I do when students are absent, or and I just cut extra pieces of tape just in case students might be enrolled the second week of school. However, once this week is over, I'm gonna discard the rest of the tape, and then I have my roll of tape. Actually, currently, everything's in this bag, but then I'm just gonna place the stuff back into this drawer right here. So that's it. Now I'm going home.
That's what I said.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. No. No.
Why is it no?
I'm joking.
That's
I don't even know what the question is. What's the question for? That's the first one. Hey, LTGIF, good morning. It is morning, right? Yes, it's still morning. So if you just walked in, make sure you grab your interactive notebook and then open to page 10. And I will explain this. And we have a lot of like athletes and people that will be in the pep rally during lunch. So I will also explain some stuff, because I know you all have to leave either early or the last couple minutes before class is over. Let me explain. On page 10 of your interactive notebook, last class, I talked about accuracy and precision. We did a little activity with the rulers, the wacky rulers, and the metric ruler to help you understand accuracy and precision. So I'm going to see whether or not you understand it by having you do a left side activity on page 10. It's cold. The air was off during first period. We were burning up, so it's good that it's working. So it was hot last period, now it's freezing cold this period. I won't complain. On page 4 of your interactive notebook, there was a sheet of paper that said left side, and it explained what the left side was, and it had some options. What you are going to do in 15 minutes, and it's okay if you don't finish, but I'm going to give you 15 minutes in class for the warm-up to demonstrate your understanding of accuracy and precision. And you have choice in how you want to do this. So similar to last week when we did the writing for the lab safety and equipment stations, and I gave you 4 prompts and you were able to choose how you wanted to demonstrate your understanding. Basically it's the same thing, except I'm not restricting you to 4 options. You have any of the options on page 4, or if there's another way that you want to demonstrate your understanding of accuracy and precision, then you may do that instead. Okay? However, if you decide to do writing, it has to be 1 page in length. If you are drawing any types of pictures, then they have to be in color. The only thing that you cannot do is you cannot use the dartboard or the bullseye, because I already used that example for you. So that option is out. But many of you I see play sports, so you can use a sports analogy, you can use whatever you want to use to show me that you understand accuracy and precision. And you need to give me the different scenarios, like precise and not accurate, accurate and precise, neither. Okay? Normally for warm-ups I'd give you 10 minutes, but today, since we're doing the left side for the first time, I'm going to give you 15. Anything that you don't finish is homework. However, because we are finishing at the stations, if you have downtime, like if you're waiting for a station to open up, then I highly encourage you to use that time while you're waiting to finish this. Okay? And then if you finish everything and you still haven't finished, then come back to your seats and finish this. For those of you who have to leave early, the stations have to be completed today. So if you don't complete it today, then you have by the end of Tuesday to come in before school, after school, or during lunch to finish anything that you don't finish today because you have to leave early. Okay? So just stay on track and go. So you have 15 minutes starting now, once I get mine to work on this. Up. What? That was 15 minutes.
That was not 15 minutes.
That was, I did not trick you guys. I did not trick you all. Take time away. I will say, however, if you say that you're done and you try to put your notebook away, I'm going to look at if the notebooks are in lunch. And if it's not done, or if I think there needs to be improvements, I will come find you during third period and deliver your notebook to you. A little post-it note that says, with comments on there, to let you know what you need to do. So, don't try to sneak your notebook into the basket when class is over if you have not done what I asked you to do. Okay? So, just like last time, these middle tables are going to go to the... Oh, I forgot to say one thing. So these... Did we start at those stations or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So the middle tables are going to go to the back. Real quick, the middle table, your exploration station is going to be that middle lab table. Okay. These two tables on the left that are going to be up in the front, your exploration station is going to be that lab table all the way in the back left. So I'll say that one more time because some people over here are talking. So these tables up front, when you have to do the exploration station, your lab table is in the back. Okay. Again, make sure you read the cards because the letters tell you just extra information or describe what you need to do. The numbers are the questions that you respond to on your answer sheet. Other than that, middle table, you may go to the back. And let's get started. I'm putting the light on.
I get it. It's 8.
This one is precise, but not accurate.
So we have our number, 5.7, and moving the decimal point 8 times to the right. So let's take our...
Yeah, because it has more like lines.
So half my class left for pep rally. During lunch, I'm headed to the main courtyard right now to see it. Lunch is over. I'm gonna go to my class, grade some notebooks, and oh, it's you. I gotta go. Harassing. I'm off delivering incomplete interactive notebooks, left side assignments. I think the students thought I was joking when I said I would come find them during my off period. I'm on a mission. So I just got back from delivering all the notebooks. That was a fun walk around campus. That's a great way to stay in shape. Especially some people ask me about like health tips and how to stay healthy and maintain, taking a power walk around the campus because I didn't go to the gym this morning. So there was my cardio. I have about 15 minutes before the start of fourth period. And it's funny because many of my students have the same classes together. They may not have my class together, but it's just some of the same students throughout. All my classes have one or two classes together. So when I popped in, I recognized many of the faces, and they all just kind of looked and they saw that I was carrying interactive notebooks because I told them, like, if they did not complete the assignment, I gave them 15 minutes in class, and then I also gave them some time when they were waiting, that they had some time to complete it, and if they didn't complete it, it was homework. And if they turned it in to the basket, I was going to go through the notebooks and just check real quick. And if it had not been completed as was described, or they tried to give me like 3 sentences when it was supposed to be a page if they were doing a writing, then I was going to personally deliver their interactive notebook to them, which I did today during third period. And then even one class I walked in, they saw me, they're like, wow, really? I'm like, yes, really? I told you. So I think for me, that's just setting the expectation that, I am going to ensure that you complete the work. Even some students didn't turn in the writing from last week, and I gave them an opportunity to turn it in this week, and I got after them about that. So it is also work, on my part, having to go around and do that, but I think if I put in a lot of work at the very beginning, it becomes easier because then the students, they'll come into tutoring. They'll know that I'll be here available to help them out. And I'm also responding based on some of the survey comments they left me that they completed on Friday, the first week of school. I think at least this first 6 weeks, me going out of my way to deliver the notebooks and let the students know that when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So that now they know. Many of the students, again, I just said earlier, they all have the same classes together, so they saw, even if they didn't get their notebook back, they saw me coming in and delivering notebooks to 1 or 2 of their peers in class. So I think I got the message across. So now I'm gonna get ready for next period, and then that's the end of my Friday. I know I have some kids coming for tutoring because they said that they were going to come see me as I dropped off their notebook to them. So school's over. It ended 30 minutes ago. I had some students come in for tutoring, either to make up a quiz that we took earlier this week, or they had to finish up their stations, and some came to do their notebook to finish that up. I'm gonna finish up here. There's a football game. I'm going to go to that, but I'm not gonna stay all night. But other than that, it's been a great second week of school. The students did another learning stations lab and took some quizzes, and I'm gonna wrap that part up next week and get them ready for the whole measuring and lab practical experience. So I'm about to go check out some football. So that's it, I'm leaving early. I am heading home. That is the end of my week. Well, that's week 2. If you made it all the way through the end of this video, thank you for watching. If you're interested in checking out some of my other clips, you can check them out by clicking on any of the links right here. If there was anything about this video that you liked, then make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and or share the video. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe by clicking on the link right here, so that way you can bond with James. As always, thanks for watching.